It seems like the cast of Yellowstone is finally opening up about the bad blood behind the scenes. The show is finally wrapping up. The last episodes are about to drop, and you can feel the tension building as the cast gets ready to return to that iconic Dutton ranch one last time. However, the actors are finally starting to talk about the finale and all the juicy drama that's been happening behind the scenes. And that involves the unfortunate departure of Kevin Costner, the man who was practically leading the show. So what does the cast have to say about it all? The words of Luke Grimes. Luke, who plays Casey Dutton, recently had an interview with The Independent, and he spilled some tea on what's been going down. Now, let's be real. The big elephant in the room for Yellowstone fans for the past year has been the Kevin Costner situation. It was a massive shocker, because how were the fans supposed to just say goodbye to the patriarch of the Dutton family? Ever since he announced he was leaving, there was a whole lot of speculation and not a lot of answers from the cast. But Luke finally gave us a little peek behind the curtain. When asked about Costner leaving, Luke didn't dish all the details, but he did say it's been a bit unfortunate. He wasn't exactly thrilled about whatever went down, but Luke, being all laid back as usual, said that, in the end, sometimes people have to follow their passion. Apparently, Kevin Costner got super busy with his big film project, Horizon, an American saga, which is kind of his dream thing right now. So, according to Luke, Kevin had to do what made him happy, even if it messed with the way Yellowstone was supposed to end. And this isn't just a small project either. Kevin's working on the Horizon series, which is like a duo of films, so it's clearly something he's really invested in. But that's not the only thing Luke got into. He also had some things to say about the whole political controversy that's been swirling around the show. Some people seem to think that just because Yellowstone is set on a ranch with cowboys, it's automatically catering to one political side. Luke basically shut those rumors down for good. He compared it to Succession, the other massive hit show about a totally dysfunctional rich family. Luke pointed out how no one looks at Succession and says it's political just because the Roy family is in a Manhattan high-rise. So why does everyone jump to conclusions when they see cowboy hats and horses in Yellowstone? Luke seemed frustrated by the whole thing, and he just couldn't get why people are so quick to slap political labels on the show when really, it's just about flawed people living their messed up lives. At the end of the day, Yellowstone is a drama about family, power, and all the complications that come with it, not a political statement. But let's be real, all this talk just gets us even more curious about how the final episodes are going to play out. With Costner gone and the cast seemingly navigating through all this drama, who knows what's in store for the Dutton family? It's like there's this massive buildup and we're all just waiting to see how it'll come crashing down. Luke is not one to stir up drama, but even he couldn't hide the fact that Kevin's departure has changed things. The way he talked about Costner, you could tell there's still a lot of respect there. No hard feelings, just a little bit of sadness that things didn't go according to plan. The truth in Kevin's eyes. It's been absolute chaos behind the scenes, and now, early in 2024, Kevin Costner himself finally spoke up about all the drama. Fans have been on the edge of their seats, wondering why on earth things were taking so long. Well, in May 2023, it was officially confirmed that Season 5 would be the last. But the real question is, why all the delays and sudden changes? It turns out a lot of it has to do with scheduling conflicts with the one and only Kevin Costner, who's now officially leaving the show. Apparently, Taylor Sheridan, the mastermind behind Yellowstone, wasn't exactly thrilled when Costner decided to walk away. Sheridan even spoke out about how disappointed he was with how things unfolded. He didn't throw shade directly, but he did hint that Costner's new passion project, Horizon, an American saga, might have something to do with it. Sheridan basically let everyone know that Kevin's split focus might be to blame for the shakeup. But Kevin Costner wasn't going to leave without telling his side of the story. In an interview with Deadline, he spilled the details on what he says really went down with the whole Yellowstone production drama. Costner revealed that when he first signed on, the plan was for him to be in the show for 7 seasons. But somewhere along the way, things got renegotiated and suddenly they were only talking about seasons 5A and 5B. And that's when the whole situation started going off the rails. Costner said that when it was finally time to film, the production wasn't even ready. They were supposed to kick off filming in April and May, which would usually take them through August, but they didn't even manage to finish 10 episodes. And here's the thing. According to Kevin, the main issue was that there weren't enough scripts ready to go. Costner said that he had adjusted his whole schedule for Yellowstone. He even put his movie project on hold to be there on time, only to find out the team wasn't prepared. They were short 4 full days just to complete the first 8 episodes, and that's why the fans didn't get the full 10 episodes they were promised. Now, there were all those crazy rumors flying around that Kevin Costner was only willing to film for a week. People were talking like he was too busy with his movie and didn't care about Yellowstone anymore. But Kevin shut that down real quick. He explained that there were no scripts at the time, so he told them, "Look, if you want to wrap this up nicely, the best I can do is give you a week." And somehow that got twisted into him only wanting to work for a single week the entire season. He made it super clear that was not the case at all. He was willing to do more, but the situation just wasn't right. But here's the part that'll blow your mind. Kevin said that Paramount and 101 Studios really fumbled the whole thing. He claims he was ready to go for seasons 5, 6, and 7, but they kept changing the plans, and that's why things got so messy. Even with all the drama, though, Kevin didn't slam the door shut on coming back. He said he'd be open to returning if the writing was good enough. But wait, there's more. Kelly Riley's take. Kelly Riley, the one who plays Beth Dutton, has a slightly different opinion on all this Kevin Costner drama. In fact, she says that Taylor Sheridan had been planning for John Dutton's absence from the story all along. According to Kelly, this was part of the grand design from the very beginning. So think about it. John Dutton has been the heart and soul of the show, right? His whole mission has been to protect his massive Montana ranch from all kinds of threats, from sleazy land developers to sketchy politicians. His battles have been the core of the show for 5 seasons, but now Season 5 Part 2 is set to bring it all to an end. And while it feels there's been chaos leading up to this finale, Kelly Riley is saying that John Dutton's absence was actually part of Sheridan's master plan all along. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, Kelly explained that they didn't have to scramble to make changes when Kevin Costner decided to leave. Sheridan had already written John's absence into the story. She didn't spill all the details, but she did say that Sheridan told her about this plan way back in Season 1. So it's not like they had to make some last-minute adjustments. This was always part of the Yellowstone tapestry. But here's the thing. While it's reassuring to know that Sheridan had a plan, it still raises a ton of questions. Like, how was John supposed to exit the story? Most fans probably expected him to go out in some dramatic blaze of glory, given all the close calls he's had over the years. But now, with Costner leaving earlier than expected, it's hard not to wonder if John's send-off will still have the same emotional impact we've been waiting for. Because, let's be real, if John Dutton doesn't get the epic farewell he deserves, it's going to be a major letdown for all the die-hard fans. Think about it. John Dutton has been at the center of everything since the beginning of the show. His complicated relationship with his kids, especially Beth and Jamie, have fueled some of the most intense and dramatic moments in Yellowstone. And while we knew from the start that he might not make it to the very end, the idea that his story could conclude off-screen or in a way that doesn't pack the punch we all want, that's tough to swallow. After all, John Dutton is basically the heartbeat of the whole show. But don't worry, it's not all doom and gloom. Even though John's exit might feel a little bittersweet, there's still so much to look forward to with the rest of the Dutton family. Taylor Sheridan has built this world where every single character has their own complicated storyline. And with John out of the picture, it's going to open the door for some serious drama with the rest of the clan. We're talking about Beth, Rip, Jamie, and Casey. Each of them has so much left unresolved, and it's going to be wild to see where it all goes. Let's start with Beth and Rip. Their relationship has been this incredible emotional roller coaster, and now, with John potentially gone, it could be their time to really step into the spotlight. What will it mean for them to take over the ranch, to navigate the future of the Dutton legacy without John's guiding hand? It's going to be intense, and honestly, it could lead to some of the most epic moments of the entire series. And then there's Jamie. Oh boy. Jamie has been teetering on the edge of a major breakdown for what feels like forever. With John out of the way, this could be the moment he's been waiting for. But let's be real, Jamie's ambitions might also be his downfall. We've seen him make some pretty sketchy moves in the past, and now that the family's power dynamic is shifting, it could all blow up in his face. And don't forget about Casey. He's always been the reluctant heir to the Dutton Empire, the one who doesn't quite fit into the mold of what his father wants. But with John gone, Casey might be forced to step up in ways we've never seen before. His loyalty to his own family and his desire to protect them could clash with his duties to the Dutton legacy, leading to some seriously high-stakes drama. So while it's sad to think that John Dutton's story might not end the way we all envisioned, the fact that Sheridan has had this plan from the start gives us hope that the final chapter of Yellowstone is still going to be an unforgettable ride. There's so much left to explore with the rest of the Dutton family, and you know Taylor Sheridan isn't going to let us down. What's going to happen in Part 2? It's been a roller coaster behind the scenes, but we finally got a sneak peek into the chaos, all thanks to a behind-the-scenes featurette the cast and crew just dropped. This little teaser is a gift to fans who've been waiting forever for the next part of Season 5, and trust us, the excitement is real. So the team has been on a pretty long break between the first part of Season 5 and what's coming next, and you can just feel how pumped they are to get back to work. They've been itching to bring these final episodes to life, and it's about time, right? Even Luke Grimes, who plays the one and only Casey Dutton, got super emotional talking about it. And by emotional, we mean actual tears. Luke's been dropping hints that this next chapter is going to hit us right in the feels. He's talking drama, action, and yeah, lots of tears. So if you've been emotionally invested in the Dutton family's saga from the start, you'd better be prepared for a serious roller coaster ride. But let's be honest, Yellowstone has always had that emotional punch, and it sounds like they're taking it to a whole new level this time. One person who's been giving us a little inside scoop is Christina Voros, one of the directors. She said that while it's been like a big family reunion on set, there's this whole challenge of figuring out how to continue the story in a completely new way without Kevin. And get this, they've been so secretive about everything that the actors are only being given redacted scripts. Yep, they can only see their own lines, and the rest is totally blacked out. So even the cast has no idea what's going on in the bigger picture. Denham Richards, who plays Colby, said that this secrecy is actually bringing out some super real, raw reactions from the actors because they're basically in the dark about what's happening with the other characters. So whatever's about to go down, you can bet it's going to feel really authentic on screen. Now, let's talk about who's back for this final stretch. We've got all the usual suspects: Luke Grimes as Casey, Kelly Riley as the fiery Beth Dutton, Cole Hauser as Rip Wheeler, Wes Bentley as the oh-so-complicated Jamie Dutton, Kelsey Asby as Monica, and Gil Birmingham as Chief Thomas Rainwater. Even without Kevin, there's no shortage of talent in this cast, and they are ready to bring it. Kelly Riley in particular seems super excited for what's to come. She's been teasing fans on Instagram, posting sneak peeks from the iconic Yellowstone Ranch. While she hasn't given away any spoilers, you can totally feel her excitement in every post. It's like she's just as hyped as we are to see how things play out. Remember that teaser we got on August 25th? That's when Paramount Network finally gave us the first look at what's coming in Season 5, Part 2. And from the looks of it, things are about to get intense. November 10th, 2024 is going to be the day when all the drama explodes at the Dutton Ranch. In the teaser, we saw Rip loading his rifle and storming into the main house like he's just discovered something huge. If you think back to all the drama from Part 1, you can't help but wonder if this has something to do with Jamie and the whole mess about Beth's infertility. I mean, the tagline was, "Generations of blood have led to this," which says it all. We're about to see 5.5 seasons worth of tension, betrayal, and family drama come to a boiling point. Speaking of Beth and Jamie, their sibling rivalry is about to really explode. These two have been at each other's throats for years, and it's all coming to a head. And with John gone, there's nothing left to stop them. It's going to be a no-holds-barred battle between the Dutton family's black sheep and his fiery sister. Let's be real, Jamie has done a pretty good job of sabotaging himself over the years, but now that John's out of the picture, it feels like anything could happen. If you remember how part 1 ended, John and Beth had already decided that it was time for Jamie to take a one-way trip to the train station. Meanwhile, Jamie and his partner in crime, Sarah, were busy plotting their own accident for their enemies, one that would leave no room for recovery. With Kevin Costner stepping away from the series, we're all left wondering what's going to happen to John Dutton when part 2 kicks off. Could John already be gone when the new episodes start? And if so, who else might be on the chopping block? There's so much to speculate about with John's absence. At the end of part 1, we were primed for the ultimate showdown between Beth and Jamie, and John was the only one who could have stepped in to stop it. But now? With him potentially out of the picture, there's nothing holding them back. It's about to be a free-for-all, and Casey probably won't be able to do much to stop the chaos either. Every Dutton is going to be out for themselves, and it's gonna get messy. But before all that goes down, we've got to figure out what happened to John. He's always been the rock of the family, fiercely protecting the ranch and refusing to sell it, no matter how intense the financial pressure got. He's always said it was because of a promise he made to his father. So how is the show going to handle his absence? The most obvious theory is that John dies, but that's still just speculation at this point. Either way, the show is going to have to address its fate right away, and fans are on the edge of their seats waiting to see how it plays out. Despite all the drama behind the scenes, production for these final episodes seems to be moving full speed ahead. With the release date getting closer, we could be seeing an official first look at the new season any day now. But the big question is, will there be any footage of Kevin Costner's John Dutton? That's still up in the air, and we're all dying to know if we'll get one last glimpse of him before the series wraps up. Now, let's talk about Beth. She's been through so much over the past 5 seasons. Emotional and physical trauma, fierce loyalty to her family, especially to her father, and yet she's still standing strong. In many ways, she's more like John than her brothers ever were. With John potentially gone, Beth's about to step into the biggest fight of her life. Her conflict with Jamie has been building and building, and there's no way this ends peacefully. If John does die, it's going to push Beth over the edge. And Jamie? Well, he might just find himself in her crosshairs, especially if she suspects him of having anything to do with their father's death. Beth also got her own little family with Rip and their adoptive son Carter. She's more protective than ever, and honestly, she's only getting more dangerous. Anyone who threatens her family is going to feel her wrath, and you just know that these final episodes are going to be explosive. So what about Yellowstone's future? The flag show might be ending, but there's already talk of a spin-off called The Madison. We've got some big names attached to the cast: Michelle Pfeiffer, Matthew Fox from Lost, and Suits star Patrick J. Adams. But there's still no word on whether some of our Yellowstone favorites, like Kelly Riley, Luke Grimes, or Cole Hauser, will be part of it. Before we dive into what's coming next, let's not forget what happened in part 1 of Season 5. A recap of it all. John Dutton became the governor of Montana, which was a huge deal. But guess what? He absolutely hated it. He's been fighting government interference for the whole series, and now that he's the one in charge, he's battling against the same political system he despises. He only ran for office to protect Montana's land from outsiders, and while he managed to temporarily align with his longtime rival, Thomas Rainwater, the drama was off the charts. The season also gave us some intense moments between Beth and Summer Higgins, the environmental activist John got out of prison. Beth wasn't exactly thrilled to have Summer living under their roof, and their tension boiled over into a literal fight. And then there's Beth and Rip, our favorite power couple. They're finally married and settling into life together, even taking in a teen runaway, Carter, as their surrogate son. Things were looking good for them, but Yellowstone drama is never far behind. Meanwhile, Jamie's been making all the wrong moves, as usual. He's teamed up with Sarah Atwood, a lawyer sent to bring down the Duttons, and by the end of part 1, he's ready to launch an impeachment inquiry against John. Jamie's trying to take down his own father, and this family feud is about to hit new heights when part 2 kicks off. Fan reactions. The announcement about Costner leaving left fans in their feelings. People are genuinely heartbroken. A fan posted on their account saying, "Mr. Dutton, you broke my heart today." And that's just one of many reactions. Fans are really feeling the loss. In many ways, it's totally understandable why people are upset. One fan summed it up perfectly, saying, "No, Kevin, Yellowstone won't be the same without you. You truly made the show. My wife and I looked forward to each week to watch you." It really shows how much of an impact Kevin had on people. And then you've got others like this fan who said, "I will not be watching then. I'm totally heartbroken." It's just devastating for some fans who've been so attached to seeing Costner on their screens every week. Some fans were actually angry, with one of them saying they might as well not even continue Season 5 because no one could ever replace you. People are really feeling like Yellowstone just won't be the same without him. It's like when your favorite character leaves the show, and suddenly, everything feels off. And here's the thing. While some fans are totally heartbroken, others are really supportive and excited for Kevin's next big project, Horizon. A fan said it best, "It's their loss, Kevin. You had an amazing run with the show. Seasons 1 to 3 were amazing, but you belong at the movies." Fans like this are sad to see him go, but also totally hyped to see him dive into his passion projects. It also sounds like Kevin's very excited about what's coming next. One fan even said, "Your entry into this life chapter is formidable. Enjoy the ride," which really sums up how some people are feeling. It's bittersweet. On the one hand, we're losing John Dutton, but on the other hand, we get to see Kevin chase his dreams with Horizon. So while this is the end of an era for Yellowstone, it's also the start of something super exciting for him. And here's where things get really interesting. Just because Kevin is leaving doesn't mean John Dutton is completely gone. Josh Lucas, who plays the younger version of John, has been dropping some hints about making a comeback. How wild would it be if young John played a big role in these final episodes? It could totally add a whole new layer to the story. And honestly, I'm here for it. So yeah, Kevin Costner's departure is a little heartbreaking, but there's still so much to look forward to.